You found our show, so come on in and take a seat. Warrior class, we got the keys. Doom, 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 doom. To get you where you need to be, just study our show, and you're gonna grow like crazy. Watching you will see. Doom, 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 doom. Warrior class, we got the keys, just watch our show, 'cause it's for you and your babies.
Welcome to Warrior Class, where the teachers whoop ass and you will too if you pass. I'm Balogun OJ Tade, waiting for the other hosts to get in, but we're going to get started. I am the Master and Technical Director of the African Martial Arts Institute, co-chair of the Urban Survival and Preparedness Institute, screenwriter, novelist. I've written 42 books, novelist, and writer of nonfiction as well. So I have 42 books, 43, something like that, of fiction and nonfiction. I have 50 years of training in indigenous African martial arts and 33 years, something like that. Yeah, 33 years, I believe it is, of teaching. So I've been at it for a minute. That's me. My co-hosts are here so they can tell you about themselves. Oh, I'm a father of 9 children, 8 daughters, 1 son. My son is the 7th.
Sorry, that was hilarious.
My son's
be funny once a year.
7th of the 9. Hold on, let me mute them real quick. My son is the 7th of the 9, so he's graduating from college from Hampton University next month. I won't be on that day. I'll be at his graduation, of course. He graduates on Mother's Day, but we're going to be gone for a whole week. So we probably wouldn't be doing a Mother's Day episode anyway, but that next week I may not be on. That depends on when we arrive back in town, or when I'm allowed to get back online by the family. So that's me. Oh, and 6 grandchildren. So got a lot.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I muted you because y'all were doing so much laughing and stuff. People wouldn't be able to hear what I was talking about. So now I'm giving it to the other hosts, and they can tell you about themselves. And this is for folks who I knew, who may not know who the heck we are. So,
can you hear us, Bubba?
Yes.
Greetings, peace.
Peace. How y'all doing?
This is Warrior Class, the second half, second edition. I am Bile, Ogun Bile, full instructor at the African Martial Arts Institute. For people who don't know me, I'm also a father, an actor, a wellness consultant, revolutionary, and a great friend. That's what I've been called, great friend. That's what Baba calls me all the time. So, not really. I'm comrade. I'm his homie, and one of the hosts.
Greetings. I'm Aniki. I am an assistant instructor at the African Martial Arts Institute. I am a home herbalist, comedic yoga basu.
A home herbalist, that mean you smoke herb at home? I'm sorry, it's 420. She doesn't smoke herb.
Oh, no.
What?
I just forgot someone's birthday yesterday. I've lost my train of thought now.
You
I'm
were
a mother,
okay.
and I am also equally overjoyed to be here, and I'm glad that you all are here.
All right.
Okay, so this is the truth about 52 as in 52 blocks, part one. Part two will
Whoa.
be this evening.
This ain't about the Drake battle. I thought
Who? Drake.
Drake just dropped a diss record to Kendrick. I thought that's what we.
No.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I guess.
we'll do that when we do the Capoeira episode because they both is valuable. No, I'm just joking. Capoeira folks, don't get mad at me.
Peace, Young Black Economist, not Zay. Wichita
Listen.
Wellness Center.
Yeah, peace everybody in the chat. We have
Good to
some
see
new
y'all.
folks. Let's
Good
see.
to see y'all. Please share, hit the like button. Y'all know I'm usually on time, but Amaniki here with me today, so you know how that go.
The new people, El Jimenez, Washita Wellness Center, and Not Zay, welcome. Welcome to the platform. We pray you get all that you're seeking and more out of it.
Does he watch the show? With them? Oh, but you forgot to call him. Ooh, she forgot to call her friend Laratis and tell him happy birthday, boy. Her good, close friend. Woo, Laratis, I hope you're watching. If you're not, I'm going to send you this link so you can see that I remembered your birthday. I don't know what happened to her.
His name is Laratis.
Laratis, yes. He's from Decatur, so I mean,
Laratis, Decatur.
Laratis from Decatur. We be jacking up some names, boy. God damn.
Shout out to Laratis. And she just thought about it, Laratis. You know, she got a lot going on right now, so give her a pass.
That's not as bad as Bouillabaisse. The dude I knew named Bouillabaisse. His mother named him after soup. It's like
right.
So anyway, my first time encountering, I'm gonna get into when I first heard about it, my first physical encounter with 52 blocks ish. I say it that way because I guess it would be a form of 52 blocks. Alto. Milton Davis, if you listen, he says Alto rap. Some people, some people say Alto rap. Others just say Alto, ALTO. And in prison, they don't say Alto rap. They say they do Alto. So I was on the bus stop, the number 9 bus stop for people who live in Atlanta. I was riding the bus going to Southside High School, where I was a counselor at. And waiting on the bus. It was funny. It was late. One of my students said he's going to come to class, to spend all day with me. He went to Southside, but at this point he had graduated, I believe. Yeah, he had graduated. So he was just going back and going to spend the day with me. And I taught some martial art classes there too. He's going to help me teach. So we're standing on the bus stop, and this brother walks up. This is also the first time I heard Dead Prez. It's funny how things happen. And Stickman from Dead Prez ended up training with my student and me. So anyway, standing on the bus stop, this brother walks up. He's got a bag. And he said, "Hey, brothers, y'all want some DVDs or CDs? I think it was just CDs. I don't even think DVDs existed during that time." And we're like, "Nah, brother, we're good. Thank you, though." And so my student asked me a question about knife fighting. And he had a couple of training knives with him. And so he's asking the question. And so we started working with the knives. And the guy looks and he said, "Hey, so y'all been locked up?" I said, "No." At that time, I hadn't been. I said, "No. this is indigenous West African martial arts. In fact, it's a martial art called Kili Jawaro, the Mandinka of Mali trained in. He said, what? He said, hey, man, can I see your knife? To my student, Falaye. So Falaye gives him the knife. And he said, can you work with me a little bit? And I'm like, sure. I'm like, what is it? So he thrust at me. I'm working him. And he's working me. I'm thrusting back. We're working like okay, this guy's trained before. So we both stopped. He said, you sure you ain't been locked up? I said, no. You've been to Africa? He said, no. And he said, man, I learned this. This is Alto. I learned this here in Georgia while I was locked up upstate. I said, wait a minute. You learned these knife techniques. Yeah, this is Alto. Man, this is crazy. You learned this where now? So he said, so you telling me I've been doing African martial arts? Me and the other brothers been locked up. We've been doing African martial arts all this time and we didn't know? I just said, damn. And he looked at me. I looked at him. We're both just crying. I'm crying because I'm like, damn, we don't lose nothing. We may forget, but circumstances can make certain things come out of us.
Yeah,
and he's crying because he realized this ain't just something prisoners do. This is something that warriors do.
right. On a grand scale.
So he said, damn, hey man, you know, I gotta give you something for this. I said, no, you have to give me. He said, yeah. And he said, I got something. You gonna want to hear this? You ever heard dead prayers? I said, I've heard of dead prayers, but I never heard anything that they do. He said, here. And he gave me the CD. I said, let me take this on, see what it's about. I play like, damn, you know, and Stickman published my first book, which is no longer in print. If you see it, because you may see it, somebody selling it for $1,400. African martial art discovering the world within. That is not me. If I even got a dime off of that, you know, I would let you know. But it's somebody else. So somebody bought the book and they're selling it for because it's no longer in print.
Just because I got a new Cadillac do not mean I'm the guy, y'all. So
that's why I bought out African Warriors Bible, because African martial arts discovering the world within was no longer in print. So anyway, that was my first encounter. And I say 52 block-ish because there's some 52 blocks practitioners who say, and we're going to get into it in a second, who say 52 blocks has an African root. And there are others who say it does not. It's got nothing to do with Africa. It's just purely boxing and martial arts that came from the streets of New York, and it was refined in the prison system of America, right? Maybe some of them are ADOS folks or foundational Black Americans or whatever it may be. But this brother who did Alto, he said, man, I experienced it, not just he telling me, from the feeling of it, not seeing it, feeling it. We're working with each other. He's able to work with me effectively. Okay. And never did martial arts in his life except for Alto. Well, that lets me say with a surety that Alto has an African root. The other things that I call 52 blocks, I don't know. That's we're gonna get into that later on with Wise at 5:00. But we are gonna talk on some things now. Okay. So the first time I heard about 52 blocks was before that. That was when I was watching the movie Lethal Weapon with my father, and he told me I went to see Lethal Weapon 3 times. Once with my father, once with my oldest sister Phyllis, and I think by myself or with some friends of mine. I loved it, right? So I was watching with my father, and I said, "Man, and I said then they're doing African martial arts, but it's different from what we do." He said, "No." He said that fight between Riggs and Mr. Joshua. If you haven't seen Lethal Weapon, you should see it. It was from the 80s. But that fight between Riggs, who's a cop, played by Mel Gibson, and Mr. Joshua, that's played by, I forget his name, Gary Busey. He was using Jailhouse Rock. And back then, nobody was saying 52 blocks in Chicago, at least. But they were saying Jailhouse Rock. So I later started calling it 52 blocks after I learned that's what people call it now. But and some people say 52 blocks and Jailhouse Rock are different. But I started calling it 52 blocks from listening to Killer Sin, GZA, Ghostface Killer, Method Man, or the Wu-Tang Clan, who all rhymed about the 52. Like Meph's line from him and Redman's 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2. He says, "You've just been fitted for them cement shoes. This is bottom of the lake rap. Stab you in the back kung fu. 52 cops can't withstand the 52 blocks unless they bust like 52 shots." So when I heard that 52 cops can't withstand the 52 blocks, I said, "What are you talking about?" So I started asking around, and some folks I knew from New York were like, "Well, that's, what we do in the streets." Nobody was saying, even there in the prison, that's what we do in the streets. Being real vague. Everybody claimed they know some 52. And the way they were describing, I said, "Oh, Jailhouse Rock." Said, yeah, Jailhouse Rock. So that was the first time I started hearing about it. Then the first reference in print to this type of fighting came in a 1974 issue of Black Belt magazine in a feature on prison karate. All right. Most of the article focuses on the clandestine practice of traditional karate in prisons in New York State and elsewhere. But the conclusion focuses on the more interesting in-house arts. He called it that. Black Belt treats the prison fighting styles as impromptu variations on hand-to-hand combat styles used by incarcerated military veterans and refers to them by facility-specific names such as Coxsackie variation and Comstock style. I've been featured in Black Belt before, and it's how you write it, I guess, and they know who they're approaching, the editors. But it stinks of racism when one calling it in-house arts, prison, the big house, I guess, but also saying it's an impromptu variation on hand-to-hand combat styles. Impromptu, saying you just took some, you just made something up on the spot. And that was a big thing in the 80s and the 90s when they started social media. With the internet, really, social media didn't really exist. And there was a group called Martial Talk. And on Martial Talk, they would attack anything that was Black or African. Talk about its lack of authenticity. All that foolishness. Hold on a second. This thing is trying to do some craziness. Anyway,
that happens even when, as a student, as an African martial arts student, if you tell people that you practice African martial arts, they're like, "Okay, so what is it? Like Taekwondo?" Like they always go into trying to describe it as an Asian art that you have just put a name on.
Well, and some people, because that's their level of understanding, they'll try to make it. Is it like
represent the something?
Is it like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Is it like it's none of that? One of my students gave this description to somebody, and I use it sometimes. It was good. He said, you ever seen African dance? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You ever seen Chinese dance? Yeah. He said they're that different. They're that different.
I love the description street MMA, Bob. I really do.
I know because you use it a lot. I don't because I don't want to give MMA credit. So MMA just simply means mixed martial arts, but it means more than that. It's in the zeitgeist of the world now, and MMA speaks to mugs wearing booty shorts and standing in the octagon fighting each other. Okay?
I like street added to it because the street makes you realize the MMA ain't for that, and that's why I really like street MMA, because the MMA ain't for the street.
Well, you can say it's street jujitsu, it's street capoeira, it's street taekwondo, because it's all that. If it's for the street, number one, you're gonna use tools. So you ain't doing taekwondo, you ain't doing MMA, you ain't doing Wing Chun, you ain't doing Shaolin Kung Fu. And people say, well, Wing Chun has weapons. You are not walking around the street with no damn butterfly swords. Mm-hmm. So now, if you are in a combat system and you pick up the butterfly swords, the butterfly swords can represent the knife, it can represent a stick, but they don't know that in their own art, so they can't get credit for that.
Right.
Hey, I'm using the Wing Chun butterfly swords for the street. No. They don't get no credit because they're not going to give no credit in the ring. This is African martial arts in the ring. This is African martial arts in the octagon. They're not going to give no credit to nobody else. So that's why I don't dig it, because I'm not trying to give these fools credit for nothing, right? I've had MMA people come to the school because people believe it's a litmus test, and including people do it. They believe, this is the shit, and you shouldn't do nothing else. Well, at one point, and everything is based on what's popular on TV or movies. So at one point, people were talking about karate was the ultimate. One point, kung fu was the ultimate. And then the ninja craze, ninjutsu is the ultimate. People would ask questions and say, do you do like it's karate, kung fu, then the highest level is ninjutsu? Where do you fall in there? I'm like, well, where do you get that from? Who told you the highest level is ninjutsu? Get out of here. So I'm not talking about that, Ominiki. That is the ignorant talking out the side of their neck. They don't know what they're talking about. They have no reference because they've never trained, but they got to say something.
Yeah, bro.
That's well. Now, these martial talk motherfuckers are people who know martial arts, but they refuse to give credit to Black people who do martial arts, specifically to African martial arts. People say, I used to have like all these things kept, and I was like, when these martial arts come out and they end up getting embarrassed as we begin to bring things forward, and they say anything supporting, I'm snapping on them. I was young, I had time, right? And I've done that to some of these people who now try to show support. Get your ass out of here. I remember you, but
as we take
they would say stuff like, if it is African martial art, all they doing is running around just throwing wild technique and screaming, because of course we're savages and we can't think enough to have a codified martial arts system. Well,
and spears around.
I was taught a codified African martial arts system before the internet, before people were talking about they want to reconstruct African martial arts, and they arrogant too, act like they know what the fuck they talking about. And most of them have not even been to Africa. Okay. So before any of those things, even before people were talking about, well, I do kung fu, but I love Africa, so I'm going to use Swahili names to name my techniques. We were trained before any of that shit. And that's why a lot of stuff I don't care. When you hear me say, I don't care what folks think. I remember Milton, saying, they're saying this about this when we created steampunk. They're saying this. I said, I don't care what these people think. Because I grew up in a world where I was standing next to the luminaries in jiu-jitsu, karate, whatever, and they weren't tripping. They weren't tripping. They weren't saying, okay, is your African martial art, is it like Muay Thai? They were less ignorant. This thing has made people more ignorant because everybody think they know something. And so anytime you got everybody think they know something, everybody talking, but not listening. And so they're not learning, so they're just speaking. Or a person thinks it's valuable enough to read a book on a martial art, and they know that shit.
Mm.
You do not. And for you to read a book on any martial art and then speak on it, not have no experience with it, it's disrespectful and it's ignorant. Now, and that's why we're bringing Wise on.
Because he's wise in 52
At least, well, hey, at least me and Belay, and I don't know, I don't think, were you at the 52 workshop that we bought when we bought Wise in to teach?
Yes.
Okay, so we've trained in 52, all of us.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, at least we've trained in it. But even I felt funny on the reels because it was showing too many pictures of me. I'm not a 52 blocks practitioner, certainly not a teacher. Okay. But I have enough experience with it to talk about what we're talking now. But when we want to get into the depths, I said we got to bring Wise in, and that's why we bring him. Why he couldn't come in at this time. He can only come in at 5. That's why.
And as a disclaimer to Baba, I put the reel together, and I wanted to show what I thought people would pick up is that we were like Baba was learning as a master, like he says all the time, as a master blacksmith over here in African martial arts. He was being a student, and I showed him. I showed it in order. I showed him him and Wise meeting. Then I showed him line up. We all lined up, throwing the bows, and I showed him by himself in the line. And then it went to everybody else. And that's what I wanted to show in that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It was done well. I'm just saying I get uncomfortable with.
No, I know how you are. You know what I mean? You don't want
like that,
that's what I'm here for. I'm here for the line block.
And just so you all know, a lot of times I don't have to be seen. I expect my students to want to be seen. That's just a part of your growth. But when I see other martial artists who've been doing this shit, I've been training for 30 years, 40 years, and they want to be so seen.
Yeah.
That is just odd to me. And I'm like, what, your level of mental development either is stunted or the way you were trained sucked.
Because I'm going to tell you, as much as I want people I want to be seen in a way, the training that we get, it goes against me kind of doing that. It's hard. Like I said, I only wear my shirt because I want to promote the school. I don't want to be telling people I do this and I do that like these people go around doing. The only time I want to insert myself in a conversation, whether on or offline, is to help somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be on there. We watch all the 85% of what we see out there, people doing the techniques is booty. It's not just wrong, they just backwards. I just showed Bob a famous dude got, I don't know how many people coming, white people paying all this money. He's showing you the opposite way to get out of a chokehold. The exact opposite way.
I'm gonna tell you something about this fool.
But my point real quick, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it ain't about bragging and telling people you know something, because now you got to show and prove it. Most where I'm from, once you say something, and that's how the universe works if you know it or not. Once you state something, Now you got to prove it to the world.
And proving it you all is not, because people will say there's no videos of them. Video's not proof. Stop it. That's this shit here. This shit
the
here.
universe ain't gonna video you. It's gonna put pressure on you. That's what it's gonna do.
Right. Video is proof, dude. This is we make film. This is magic. You can make all kinds of shit look dope in this here. Touch hands with some of these folks. They'll crumble. They'll crumble. Yes. Now, that same person, and if I knew his name, I would say his name. He's not that important to me because I really saw he's a clown. He's on the same level as that Dust dude.
Yeah.
People just take him seriously because he's big. Once again, because of this shit here.
Right.
He has cleaned it up because he got dogged at first when he loved teaching that choke to get out of that and teaching wrong. By the way, he'll get your larynx crushed. But anyway, he used to teach, you just put your thumb, your chin right here, and a woman's putting her chin on him. He's falls down. I said, this clown is acting a fool to sell memberships to his class, or he's selling a video, he's doing something, because there's nothing there. There's nothing there that your chin is gonna make you break down like that. And this lady who weighed about 90 pounds is not gonna break down this brother whose goddamn forearms as big as my thigh with muscle. It's not gonna happen. Even though the more muscular you are, the closer to the surface those nerves are, you're not gonna break down like that. You're not unless you have a big bruise there and she happens to hit that bruise, and you still better not, if you're trained, be breaking down, yelling and screaming, he about to cry. Get your ass out of here, dude. The first person who showed that to me and said, this is ridiculous, look at that, was my wife. Okay, my wife is trained, but she ain't training now. My wife's big thing is going to Africa and teaching folk, having babies, and that's her big thing. It ain't training, but she still recognizes.
I still smell it.
That was garbage. So that dude is pure garbage.
Let me ask you a question from the chat. Ryan Newton wants to know if you knew if there was any relationship between 52 blocks and Sanukas and Jiu-Jitsu.
And Sanukas Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, Sanukas Jiu-Jitsu. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sanukas Root Jiu-Jitsu is, Moses Powell's creation. No. They don't flow anywhere near like each other. And we'll get into it in a second. They don't flow anything like each other. I love Sanukas' flow. Not Japanese Jiu-Jitsu's flow, but Sanukas' flow. Sanukas, so and then we're going to get into this. Sanukas has a root in Filipino martial arts. Filipino martial arts is known to be able to flow. But that flow is still not Sanukas. Sanukas' flow comes from Moses Powell, a black man from New York who has a lot of New York swagger. When you train with Moses Powell, like I have trained with him before, he'll stand there, get ready for you to come at him, and he'll do, he'll move his shoulders. He's just a cool dude with a lot of swag, and then next thing you know, you're getting worked and all over the place by this big dude who's working you, moving like a middleweight or something. But his swagger is just there. He's just cool, right? There's a lot of black martial artists of high level are going to be. Now, when you come from the African martial arts, I remember one time, there's a famous rapper. His wife was just looking at me, and I was uncomfortable. Well, Kunle said, well, she's supposed to look at you like that. You came in there, this rapper got swagger, and you got more swagger than him. Well, it's because a high-level martial artist is going to have, black martial artist is going to have swagger. A high-level martial artist from an African martial art, you're going to have swagger. If you don't know people from the continent, they got swagger. When I say swagger, it's coolness. You say, what? Huh? Oh yeah. You must not know folks from the continent. They're about dressing fly, moving cool, looking cool. Yes. So Sanukas has that flow and that swagger to it. But it does not, as 52 Blocks does, but it does not have the same rhythm as 52 Blocks, and it doesn't have the same methodology. Sanukas won't strike, boom, they strike so you're distracted or you can't breathe. They take your breath, they take your eyesight, then they throw. 52 Blocks does not use throws like that. If you throw from another martial art, you could add it to it, but 52 Blocks use a lot of elbows, a lot of slipping. It's a lot of things from boxing in it. Boxing footwork, which is masterful footwork if you know it. They use, but boxing doesn't use elbows legally. Now, when I say legally, that it's a sport. Whereas 52 Blocks is not a sport. A lot of boxers use 52 Blocks, use some slick things in there, but 52 Blocks is not a sport, so it's not concerned about the legalities of using an elbow. It just uses elbows. Okay. So that's my answer to that. Anyway, like I was saying, it used to be specific names in print. They would say Comstock style, Kansaki variation, that kind of stuff. And I've never heard nobody saying, I do the Coxsackie variation. Never heard that. Amazingly, the Afro man photograph demonstrating the Comstock in black belt is Miguel Pinheiro, the famous poet and playwright of the New York arts movement. Black belt could not have found a more appropriate model. In his A Lower East Side poem, Pinheiro describes himself as a street fighting man. He goes on to explain that he is a dweller of prison time, a cancer of Rockefeller's ghetto side. This concrete tomb is my home. To belong, to survive, you got to be strong. So that's the first introduction that people had to 52 Blocks in the 70s, 80s.
All right. The first direct journalistic reference to 52 Blocks does not seem to have come until 1999 in Douglas Century's Street Freedom. 5 years Street Kingdom, I'm sorry. 5 years inside the Franklin Avenue posse. An immersive account of a Crown Heights gang in the early 90s. Century followed up 2 years later with an eye-opening article about 52 Blocks in a fashion magazine, Details. In his book, Century describes 52 hand blocks as hand-to-hand combat developed in the New York State penal system and widely practiced amongst gang members in the streets of Brooklyn in the 70s and 80s. This is as good a definition as any, though some folks from the Bronx or Harlem might object to the geographical specificities. Specificity. Say that for me. Specificity. Baba inserts these type of words on purpose to make me look.
Teaching you even now.
Even now, he's always teaching. In the details article, Century quotes Dennis Newsom, a well-known capoeira master and martial art scholar, providing his own definition of 52 Blocks. Basically, it's an artistic butt whipping. It's just part of Black aesthetics. Newsom goes on to argue that the racially segregated nature of prison meant that only African American inmates learned this style.
And Dennis Newsom's capoeira, his Portuguese name in capoeira is Maestre, master, Preto Velho, Pretovelho, Preto Velho. So he's Maestre Preto Velho. He's in California. I want to say San Diego, I believe. But Master Newsom may be in here. He's very active, and that's the person who taught Jailhouse Rock to Mel Gibson for Lethal Weapon.
Wow. Lore has it that 52 Blocks worked its way down from prison to the streets in the 70s. It is plausible. Street style has always reflected prison culture, and moves that would work in the confines of prisons would work just as well in the confines of the similarly designed housing projects, which had come to dominate New York City's hoods in the era of urban renewal. 52 Blocks came to be connected in many people's minds with the Nation of Gods and Earths, also known as the Five Percenters. The Nation of Gods and Earth's lessons themselves, an enumerated code of arcane knowledge, often learned in prison, could be seen as a mental parallel to 52 Blocks, just as many Eastern practices have both a spiritual and physical aspect. In his book, Tao of 52, 52 Blocks expert Diallo Frazier writes, 52 was called God's blocks because in the science of supreme math, the number 7 is the number of God. When you add 5 and 2, you get 7.
Many 52 Blocks proponents argue that the true inspiration for the art comes from Africa. 52 Block scholar Daniel Marks, who first learned of the poem from street-savvy recruits while in the Army, refers in a brief monograph to the Southern Black fighting system of knocking and kicking. Frazier similarly connects Jailhouse Rock back to Virginia scuffling, practiced by enslaved Africans, in the 1800s. The existence of enslaved bare-knuckle boxers like the famous Tom Molyneux, who were forced to fight for their master's entertainment, is documented in other sources, including the foundational early 1800s prize fighting account, Boxiana. Marx and Frazier both connect Southern Black fighting styles back to African martial arts, such as Dambe of Nigeria, a kickboxing system practiced by the House of Butchers Guild.
52 Blocks has gradually taken more of a presence in sports, entertainment, and popular culture. Boxing fans know that Zab Judah does 52, and it's believed other boxers like Mike Tyson may have incorporated elements of 52 in their fighting styles. This theory is rooted in the fact that Mike Tyson received much of his fighting education in the streets of Brooklyn and in a New York State juvenile detention facility. The former light heavyweight and heavyweight MMA champion Rashid Evans trains in and used 52 Blocks.
Rashad Evans.
Oh, Rashad Evans trained in and used 52 Blocks in the octagon.
52 Blocks is finding its place on TV and in movies as well, just as Kung Fu once did. Because of its speed, rhythm, and flashiness, 52 Blocks is made for the big and small screens. As Baba said earlier, the first mainstream use of 52 Blocks in a movie was by Mel Gibson in the 1987 film Lethal Weapon. Gibson learned his moves from Dennis Newsom. More recently, 52 Blocks plays a prominent role in the BET series Gun Hill. Lorenz Tate's character, Bird, is an ex-convict, posing as a law enforcement officer, so his knowledge of 52 is somewhat logical to the plot. Though Tate's fighting technique, coordinated by Diallo Frazier, may very well be flash designed for TV, rather than an authentic reflection of a prison and street fighting tradition, its central use in the narrative demonstrates the continuing popular appeal of 52 Blocks. Actor and rapper Ludacris's character in the Fast and the Furious films also uses 52 Blocks. And finally, our very own Balagoon wrote a murder mystery called Kill City, in which the protagonist, a woman, is a 52 Blocks expert.
Yeah, and Ludacris is funny. He used to sit outside. We used to train in a park, King Memorial Park in Atlanta. And he would drive up every class. He knew when our class trained, and he would park and just sit in his car and watch class. Some of my students were like, "Come on, man, come on," and he was, and he would watch the whole class. He did this for a good year, just watching until
was he ludicrous at that time?
Oh yeah. He was famous. That's how we knew him. Yeah, he was ludicrous at that time. And during that time, I think Fast and Furious 2 or 3 was out.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he was.
Yeah, it had been long. And
I was thinking he went to Georgia State at the same time that I went to Georgia State. He was still Chris Level at that time.
No. He was ludicrous at that during this time. So then we end up getting a space inside of a place. Started renting out a space indoors. So he didn't know where we were at. And then the next thing I know, I see a video of him with Lorenz Tate, and he's doing 52. I guess he wanted something that was similar to what he had seen us doing. He should have just stepped out the car and got with us.
Right.
I think he was like, determined we were too rough for him, or what have you. And somebody like that being outdoors, it was difficult probably for him. Right. I've had people who are so-called celebrities come by, and it seems like every time they come by is when we happen to be outdoors. Well-known influencer brought her son to class, and we happened to be outdoors during that time. We were transitioning. I think we were about to move into a place a couple of days later, but we were outdoors.
They catch us outside and think, oh man, we can't be training outside.
Right, yeah, training outside like this, and I'm known, and I'm gonna get. And so this person bought their son, and we were doing that time training with the sticks, I believe. When you come to us and we training with a sledgehammer, you're gonna learn to use a sledgehammer. We don't say, well, here, you just do this basic block. Hoy! Ain't no such thing.
Right.
So we put you in wherever you're at. Okay, and we work in 3 to 6 month phases. And the phase he was in was doing a stick phase, and he was getting it, but it was too much work for him. And so we don't hear from her anymore till she's asking what martial arts school can I recommend he really wants to train. And I didn't answer about he really wants to train. You came here, but you don't even say to me, I'm sorry, you didn't want to do what you did, but he wants to train. You say he wants to train. What is a good school for him? Like, lady, I'm not answering you. And so if you're watching, that's why I didn't answer you back. And told none of my students not to answer you too, because that was disrespectful. All you have to do is say, hey, it doesn't matter what your level of fame is.
I manifested said Lou was trying to learn through osmosis. Yep.
Yeah. He was trying to learn through osmosis, and
they don't want to ruin their mystique.
He didn't.
That's a good.
That'd be some of it. That'd be some of it too.
Well, I've had celebrities who do train, but you'll say do this, and they won't do it. And they think not doing it is enough, or that I'll just let them just slide. Right. No, now see now you get the blessings and the love that every student will get. I'm not doing that. I bet you will. Or you will exit out of the class. I bet you will, because I'd be damned if I'm trying to help you and you try to beat your chest in front of the other students. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I won't beat my chest in front of the students to make myself look good to the students by making you look like a fool and throwing you all over the place. I may throw you all over the place, but it's to help you. You're not going to do that with me. We're not here for somebody to beat their chest. In fact, we'll clown you when you're doing that. And it's called African play. So that's part of what we do. We've had people we know that come in. One brother came in, his footwork was looking crazy as shit. I said, damn, you looking like Sabian Glover. And everybody laughing except him. He gets a look. You know, he wasn't gonna do nothing, but he was mad. And him and his brother, stopped training. Well, that's them. Because if you can't take that in there, you can't take shit out there. That's going to be worse. So it's done on purpose. I get teased by students. Stop this old sensitive ass. Once again, this shit here. Stop that old sensitive shit. Or you don't train with people who are training to defend themselves against people who want to take their lives, because it cannot be no old soft shea butter ass bullshit. Or you're going to be ineffective. You won't be able to protect yourself, let alone your family, let alone your people.
Yeah,
so you're not going to get soft shea butter ass bullshit. We love to laugh in there, but you ask crazy shit. You ask me a crazy question. Well, Baba, what if I grab the knife with my fingers? We're going to work that technique. And we'll be laughing the whole time. And if you say, well, you're laughing at I was really curious. Could you grab a knife with your fingertips? If you think you can grab a knife with your fingertips, he's going to clown that out of you, that foolish thought. That's just the way it goes. But you always have the freedom of not training with us or walking out that door. I just want to make that clear, okay? Because that's how we train. That's why you don't see us bringing many martial guests on here, because if I don't respect you, I'm not going to have you on here before the people, unless I don't do this. I'm there to just make a fool of you or just destroy you in front of. I'm not going to do that.
We good too.
I'm not gonna do that. So if I have you in front of people, it's because I respect you.
Yeah, bro.
So know that when Wise comes on, I respect Wise. That's my comrade, and he gonna get the hard questions. Not no easy questions. I don't do that. Hey, Balagoon, what to look for when looking for a trainer?
I was going to tell you that after we finished we got a little bit more left, and then I was going to get to some of these questions.
Yeah, we will, especially if you're paying experience in competitive fight, whether you're paying or not. God damn it, I'm gonna give you what to look for, because you still don't want. Well, I'm not paying, so garbage is okay. No, because your life depends on it.
I had a quick story about the police I wanted to tell after you finish your last part about the 52 block.
Oh, I got to finish this.
Yeah.
Okay, because this is the end. All right. So some big names in 52 blocks who you can find on YouTube and other social media platforms include, if you want to get a pen, I'm doing it long, include, in the ... or you can look back at this. One, Wise Morrow, who will be on here at 5, so come back. WISE, Wise Morrow. Ramel Wise Morrow, if you want to know his full name. And I only get it because he gives it. Otherwise, I wouldn't give you that. Wise's teacher. This is one of his teachers. I think he has 2 52 blocks teachers, but this is one that he transitioned. Great teacher. And I think Wise takes him as his number 1 52 blocks teacher. That's Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac. And you can find some videos of Mac online. Another is Mr. 52. I think Wise trained with him. Mr. 52 is a character. I like Mr. 52. He's a character. I'll just say that. He's a wild dude. He's a character. Now he's all about, looking real good. He's showing, and he talked about the dance of death, and he walking up the street doing the dance of death, and, and he looks cool. It's dope. But he definitely had that new long training swagger, mixed with New York swagger for sure. Okay. Light Burley, and most of these are from New York, but not all. Light Burley is probably the most known 52 Blocks practitioner because of all the stuff he's done on YouTube. And Light Burley, another one who I respect, who we were going to bring him for WarriorCon, but we got hit by COVID, so we didn't do WarriorCon. But Light Burley, for a long time, if somebody challenged him, he was taking all challenges. He didn't care what art you came from, how big you were, how small. He was going to go at it with you.
For real? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, to prove the efficacy of 52. Even some Wing Chun folks, I think from Chicago, had came at him. Well, you know, they were smart with it. You know, we're curious about 52 against Wing Chun, blah, blah, blah. And he went to the Wing Chun school. Next thing you know, he's teaching there. He's telling them, you know, Wing Chun is good, but it's lacking in this area. And he's showing how it's lacking. Wow. Oh man, it's a great video. You can find that video on YouTube. That's Light Burley. ATL Burley. Train with Light Burley. I think when you train with Light, he gives you with, like, you from a different place, he gives you the name. So ATL Burley's from here. And so he named him ATL Burley. He so probably called, if I train with, he probably named me Old Ass Burley. Everybody got different names, you know.
African Burley.
African Burley, probably. Yeah.
Lamb Burley.
Now that would be most fitting. Lamb Burley. Yeah. ATL Burley, I like a lot. ATL Burley, I mean, you figure, well, I mean, he's an humble dude too, but you figure, well, damn, you could pull this off, but he's not really a person that you can look at and say, this proves how good 52 is, because he's a physical beast. And even though he all muscular and shit, he kicking all quick and high and shit. So you say, okay, he's a physical specimen. So is this 52 effective because he's a physical specimen? But now I know that he trained with Light Burley, and I touched hands with ATL Burley when they came to our class. He's real sensitive, and he's great. And if you get a chance, him and Wise are two good people to train with here in ATL. Okay. Now Daniel Marks, I've also briefly touched hands with at the first African Martial Arts Conference in Detroit, because Daniel Marks was there too. He taught a workshop. I taught a workshop there as well. But so I had a huge crowd of people, and so did he. People wanted to know about indigenous African martial arts, and they wanted to know about 52 blocks the most. So we had the most folks in our thing. Of course, I was there on time. Daniel came in late and had about 100 of us sitting there waiting for Daniel. But I'm just messing with you, Daniel. But he did a great workshop. And then Diallo Frazier. I got a lot of. Now he's from California.
You guys named Diallo be vicious.
And he showed, now that's a different Diallo from Diallo on Earn Your Liberation. All right. Because people say, damn, I know Diallo did 52. That was
the Diallo King.
Diallo be like, somebody threatened me, goddamn, woo, boy, stop tapping on this shit, doing them hair tap. That would be funny to see Diallo do that, and I would love to see it. But Diallo Frazier is from, I think, LA, and he's cold. His is more, I would say, it's more similar to how indigenous Africans fight. It's a lot more elbows, a lot more, spinning, going low, and headbutts. Those are things that are intrinsic to West African martial arts. So that's Diallo Frazier. He wrote the Tao of 52. He wrote 52 Thoughts. So the Tao of 52, I think, is dealing with history and technique. And 52 Thoughts is affirmations. Okay. And if you're in Atlanta and want to learn 52 blocks, like I said, hit up Wise Morrow, founder of 52 blocks ATL. ATL does not mean Atlanta. We'll get into what it means when he's on here. He'll tell you what ATL stands for. So it's 52 blocks ATL. And be sure to join us right back here at 5 p.m. When Wise Morrow is going to join us, like I said. And he's going to join in the studio. We're going to get deeper into 52. We're going to ask him questions. If you ask him a technical question, he'll probably, that's why he wants to be in the studio. So he'll probably, he's going to work that on Belay, not on me. I'm too old to be getting work to take things with me. Now, he'll work it on Belay probably.
Yeah.
I want to say Belay's older than him too.
We ain't got to put that out there. Just keep that.
No, that's important because let's say if my father-in-law came in, my father-in-law is 70 years old. He don't train. So he's 70. The least trained person in the room, but Wise Morrow shouldn't be grabbing him up and doing things on a 70-year-old man. Okay.
Right. So he should take it easy.
Training, well, he gets in there and gets touched. But so that we have to remember. And then, so we give respect to age. We had a sister, Annette. I'll let you say what you're going to say, Belay. Annette came into the class. Annette Singh. She came into class and she was 64 years old when she started training. Problem with her leg and this and that. Well, she came in, but she was serious about training. It was good. She comes in late to class. I say, oh, and when you come in late to our class, okay, that's 80 push-ups. So I said, she came in late to class. She got to do 80 push-ups. So it's me, Amo Soon is there. Y'all seen him Flux, the artist from New York. He's standing there. I can mobilize there. I think Belay was right there. I said, she got to do 80 push-ups. So everybody like, yeah, coming in late like that. I said, yeah. I said, Amo Soon, go tell her, drop her for them 80 push-ups. He said, huh? I said, drop her for the 80 push-ups like any other student. And so he walks off over there, and I said, watch this. He is not going to drop her for no, and I stopped him. I ain't going to let her drop her no 80. But he's not going to do it. He's going to be hipping and hard. Watch this. And it was so funny. He's sweating, and you see him.
Hilarious.
He's trying to negotiate, and he said, so he says it. You have to do 80%. She said, I'm not. You can see us. I'm not. He don't know what to do, so he looks at us. I look down like I'm not paying attention, and everybody, just go ahead. You got to. She said, I'm not doing that. So I look up. I start crying, laughing. Right? I call him back. She said she won't do it. I said, I know she did. I said, it's cool, man. It's cool. just let her chill. She's a woman. She's 64 years old. She came to us in terrible condition, and she's building herself up.
Yeah.
She's good. That's more important.
And I just want to
goddamn push-ups.
And as an instructor, I just want to say it never stops. The lessons, the training, it never stops. It never stops. I had to realize when I first came in class, after about, I don't know, a week or so, a couple of weeks, I said I wanted to be an instructor. And you told me, basically, you was like, well, the training the test basically starts right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It happened. You don't know when it's happening. It's happening to you at all times. So before we go, and Bob, we're going to answer these questions for y'all real quick, but I just want to get in this because I might have to bounce so I can be back for the 5 o'clock show. I'm coming home yesterday, and this is what I wanted. I had this conversation with y'all before. If y'all don't know, if the ones that don't know and they've never heard the conversation, I'm not going to go all the way into it, but it was about I was talking to y'all about the difference from, for a better choice of words, recognizing, let's say, your higher self or God, being to differentiate that from your ego when things are happening and you're making the things are going off in your head, suggestions and things or whatnot. So, with that being said, I'm pulling in my subdivision, and for people who know that on the corner up there, I see these group of young black dudes, about 4 or 5 of them, in a sedan, a 4 door. The doors are open. They standing outside of cars, like 3 police cars parked in, they're the Boost Mobile right there. Well, it's not a Boost Mobile, but it used to be, and they all parked, converged on the car, and I'm pulling in and I'm just looking and seeing what's going on. My first instinct, yo, pull over, get out, ask them brothers if they okay. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That's not for you. That's just what I do. That's my instinct. Every time I see a black person getting pulled, my instinct is to pull over or whatever, and see if they good. Not saying you should do that every time. And let me say that, not every time that's my instinct. Let me take that back. But sometimes I get the inclination to check on that person. Usually it's a woman or some young people. If it's a brother, it's like 4 cops, and I'm like, yeah, this don't feel right. Let me make sure this brother good. But every now and then, so I do get that feeling. So I'm assessing the scene, but I keep going. I go home and I say to myself, I'm gonna go home, get my bike and ride back up there. I don't want to get my car just in case something happened and you know what I mean? So I go get my bike, put my shades and my hat on, and I get ready to go. Then I get what I can only describe. Maybe I get scared. It didn't feel like fear though.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like I was considering what was going on. I was like, you know what? Them dudes probably did. Them young boys probably did whatever, whatever. Or I started thinking, or in addition to, I started thinking, man, I might go down there, say something, get disorderly conduct. They can put that on you real quick for nothing. Put them cuffs on you. I know about it. So I'm all these things going through my head, and I'm like, so I get an orange. I start feeling like I ain't gonna go down there. As soon as I said that to myself, I said, man, fuck that. That's not who the fuck I am. And I don't be fucking worried about what the fuck going. I worry about justice. I worry about what the fuck is right. And I gotta live in that. And I got on my motherfucking bike and rode down there. And when I got down there, and I want to say, I assessed the situation. And the first thing I assessed was the brothers was outside. They searching the car. All the doors open, but nobody ain't got no handcuffs on them. That tells me a few things. If you've been out here for a minute, it tells me a few things. I like to, when Bobby get back to, for him to assess it. But for me, it told me a few things. One, nobody was charged with anything. You know what I'm saying? They didn't find a controlled substance and then search the car because nobody ain't been put in no cuffs. So even it doesn't even appear to be a violation of what's going on. Nobody ain't got a warrant or anything so far. Nothing has happened. So I thought about that. So anyway, I'm on the way back on the bike. I see them not in the car. The police officers are in their car, but one is outside at the driver's side. And so I just pulled up on the other side, opposite of the police officer, and was speaking into the car. I was like, "What's up, bro? Y'all good over here, man?" And you could tell them young boys were so shocked. They were scared, but trying not to look scared. I know all the shit. How you gotta try to look hard when you petrified and you worry about your mama and all type of shit, but you can't do that because you with your homies and you got that straight. Everybody got that straight face like this because they thinking about that. They get their ass whipped. They don't know what's gonna happen. Everybody they can't look scared. They just gotta get straight into the wilderness. So they looking at me. They don't even know how to speak at the moment. I'm like, yo, bro, y'all good? They got what? It's some bullshit. What's going on? They don't even talk. So I got to ask. I was like, they just stopped y'all on some bullshit and searched the car. They about to let y'all go and do it like, yeah. They about to let it go. No, I don't need to call nobody in there. Everybody good. And the police officer, young dude, you could tell. I'm looking at. He can't tell. I'm looking at them, looking at him. I got shades on. And you could tell he don't know what to do. He don't know how to take me because I ain't studying him. You know what I'm saying? I'm making sure these young brothers good. And I'm not about to try to do anything except be a witness for them, be there for them if they need something. You know what I'm saying? They made me call my mom, tell them this. Hey, let somebody know something. Just try to be of service a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just that, somebody being there, deter actions. You know what I'm saying? So just my whole message through that, listen to yourself. That first voice was my higher self. The second voice was my ego trying to protect me. You know what I'm saying?
You better listen to them both, though.
You got to know how to balance them.
Sometimes you gotta be careful. And what city? See, when we go to Chicago to teach a workshop, Belay, don't do that. Don't do that there. Number one, there are no police officers that go by them. That's called working 99. So when you hear a cop on the radio say 1099, only cops you hear say that is sergeants and lieutenants and shit. They work by themselves. Police always work multiples. So they'll say 10-4. People don't realize what that means. That means it's two cops working together.
Mm-hmm.
At least. It's a 10-4 as an affirmation. If it's one cop, it's a 1099. Okay. So when you do it there, you have to do it smarter. You watch from a distance, and if you catch eye with them, you get a y'all all right, and then maybe, but don't go over there because that's ego too, man. I ain't studying this motherfucker. Hey, y'all good? Because in Chicago they'll take that as a challenge, and they will call in other officers who only a couple blocks away, and they will storm on you. The best thing for you coming from the South, what you should do, you should walk over, Mr. Officer.
Shit.
Mr. Officer, it's days okay, Mr. Officer. I like your uniforms.
Now you
don't go to that extreme either. Because if you do that, then I'm gonna drive off and leave you there.
I probably wouldn't do anything, Bob, to be honest, because the reason I did that is because this is the neighborhood I'm from. You know what I'm saying? So I approach it a little bit differently, a lot differently. You know what I'm saying?
I can't watch no cops put their hand on somebody and I don't say something.
Oh yeah, no, that's a different. That's a whole different.
I can't watch that. But they just sitting in the car. I don't know what's going on. I really have to observe the whole thing if I got time. But I see a cop just stand up like with George Floyd on his back and shit. I'm not gonna be just right there filming. You wrong, pig. You wrong. Of course he know he's wrong. He don't give a fuck. I'm not going to do that. You have to be more active. That's all I'm going to say. Because, and that's all I can say, because thanks to Belay, the police are watching us all the time.
Yes, sir. Yesterday they was on me again.
He said,
don't say what I said again, Bobby. Don't say what I said again, please.
He's going to cripple a couple cops and put them on their uniform and wear 4 badges when he take out 4 of them. Have 4 badges on. So,
okay, I'm about to sign.
Is in danger.
Amaniki needs to sign out.
All right, so Amaniki
you got to answer these questions for him, Bobby.
Telling everything, that's him shut me up. All right.
You got to answer these questions for him, though, Bobby. I think you have some questions up here.
Okay.
We gonna sign out on our end.
So Amaniki got a break. Belay got to do some house construction, build a couple houses in the next couple hours.
Yes, sir. I got about 24 hours to build a house.
See?
I'm a bad man, though. I could do it.
Cash app him. He'll build your house. Just don't get mad at me if that shit collapse on you. All right. All right.
Love you, Baba.
Love you too. Be safe. Baltimore, I can't critique that because I don't where you're coming from, but if you can do 50, that's good. I'm 230 right now, a little overweight, but I was in bulk mode. Now I'm cutting. Well, start wherever you at. With push-ups is endurance. It's really not strength. So if you can bench press 800 pounds, you may only be able to do 10 push-ups. Well, if you can bench press 800 pounds, you probably have a lot of endurance too. If you're doing, unless you just do 1 rep, put that mug down. Usually when I'm working out with 800 pounds, I'll do, 10 reps, 10 sets of 10 reps, 800 pounds. Pretty light, just working out light, But no. If I even thought of working out with 800 pounds, I would pull a muscle. So that's why James laughed like shit. So with your muscular endurance, that's what push-ups is for. Okay. Start with 10 if you can. If you're going to do 5, do 5. But do 10 sets of 5. So the way it's done in the military that builds you up, I'm talking like airborne school and SF school, which some people call the Q course. The Q course is the end of SF school. But you're dropping for push-ups every few minutes. They're going to give you 10 at a time. So you drop a 10, you're up. You walk 100 feet, dropping for 10 more. That's the game that has to be played with you. But you're only going to get 10 push-ups at a time. Oh, cool. Yeah, but it's going to be so many sets of 10 that you ain't going to keep count. Okay. But try that in a day. If you can do 10 sets of 10, you've done 100 that day. Then go up to 20 sets of 10. Then go to 20 sets of 12. 20 sets of 15 and 20, and that's how you build yourself up. Okay. So then at one time, after a while, you start now. So I've done you do 20 sets of 10. Now just start working on increasing 10 to 12 to 15. You ain't got to do 10 a day. Now you can go to 25. Just keep on building yourself up, but take your time. Don't rush. Because it's about building your endurance, and that's built over time. Okay. Baba had that purple heart-shaped herb. Yeah, if I was bench pressing 800 pounds, I certainly did have that purple heart-shaped herb. I'd like to know what that means, what that's a symbol of too. So I'm sure it's a symbol of something. For those who don't know, that's from Black Panther. He ate the purple heart-shaped herb, and in the movie, Killmonger burnt all of it after he took it, so nobody else could come behind him and be the Black Panther. And so, but yeah, so tonight we're gonna have Burley on at 5 in a couple of hours. Let's see here. Questions. I used to do 60 every morning. That's good, I manifesto. Let's see. That's like movie Civil War. Old black man had a feeling they were in a deadly situation. Oh, I haven't seen Civil War. No spoilers. Some people didn't like it. I have to see it. I want to see. I like post-apocalyptic movies. Let's see. I can drop 50, but it'll be a slight struggle since I can only lift 175 pounds. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure Belay can do 50. I'm sure Omanika can too, because Omanika always come late for class and always getting dropped for 80. Her and her son Cairo, they always getting dropped. So with the amount of times they've been dropped, I'm sure they can drop and do 50. Maybe not easily, but they can do 50. Belay, you ought to get one of those training dummies, half torso or bob, made in your image. That would be hilarious. You got to enterprise your abuse. Yeah, that would be, and that's enterprising. Shit, white people would eat that up to get to hit on and stab and knee and all the Bob that looks like a black person. Oh snap! You just couldn't call it Bob. Call that mug, call it Antoine or something. Yeah, they would buy that. Slim Burley. You know what? I think it may be a Slim Burley already, actually. Let's see. Saw that bid with the white Wing Chun dude. Yes, I manifesto with Light Burley. Yep, exactly. And he had nothing but good things to say about 52 after. Yeah, I think he went at it with that Wing Chun police officer. Is he a police officer? Got Dominique something. Yeah, that's him then. Been subscribed to Light for years. Oh, okay. Wise Morrow, Fleetwood Mac. Belay put it in there. Mr. 52, Light Burley, ATL Burley, Daniel Marks, Diallo Frazier. And they all got videos on here on 52. So, you can have at it. There's a black kung fu dude out of Syracuse I want Baba to see. Black kung fu. Is he the black Doist? Is he called the Black Doist I Manifesto? If so, I like him. I like him as a person. Technical, I'm not sure, but he's good as far as I understand. Hey, Bogdan, what to look for when looking for a trainer, especially if you're paying. Okay, so James, when looking for a trainer, one, it's the methodology. So does the school use tools? That should be at the top of your list. I ain't say defend against tools. If you're defending against tools with your bare hands on a regular, that's not realistic. I can use my hands to defend against tools if I have to, if I don't have nothing else. Okay. But I don't want to. So that's why you always see me with tools. If you watch our videos and we're standing up, we're training, you see these little clips in our pocket. Well, that's the knife clips. We're carrying knives. The only time I take those off during shows if I'm doing throws or I'm getting thrown. I don't want the knife to fall out and cut somebody or something like that. And so I put it somewhere else. So you ask them, they use tools. You can say weapons because they may not think in the same terms like we do in that. But it says, yeah, we do bikini tertia. So they're going to do tools. So that's prerequisite to training with them. Do they use tools? Then second, I would say, how do they approach grappling? If they talk about they do anti-grappling, run. There's no such thing. Anti-grappling is grappling. If they say, well, we knocked the grappler out, show it to me. Show that to me. It's hard to just knock a person out that's shooting at you and is trying to really take you down. It's hard. Yeah. So what's their approach to grappling? So, yeah, we grapple. So we use tools. They use tools. They grapple. The grappling that we use is judo. It's jujitsu. It's freestyle wrestling. Whatever it is. That's good. Especially when you're talking about you pair it with tools. Cool. All right. So you got those two criteria. The rest could be whatever is interesting to you. And most importantly of all those, do you vibe with the personality of the teacher? Because if you don't vibe with the personality of the teacher, you're not going to even want to go to class. I was given a free week at a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school in Atlanta. People say it's the top Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school in Atlanta. I just like to go and test how I've learned against other arts. Okay. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is known for its ground efficacy. Okay. It is efficient and effective on the ground. It's known for that. So I said, okay, let me go. And what really impressed me, not the art at all. The teacher, not the main teacher, he's the person why I said I wouldn't even take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from this school. He had a person teaching for 6 of those 7 days. He came, no, 5 of those 7 days. He came in the last 2 days. It was one of his purple belts teaching. And what impressed me was, this has only happened twice. He said, "What martial art do you do?" After me rolling with students. I said, "Oh, I don't do anything. This is new to me." He said, "Come on, brother." It's a white dude. Come on, brother. Be honest with me. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You do this." He says, "You do some type of indigenous African martial art." And that is what impressed me. Like, he knew that. I said, I looked, the shock on my face. He said, "Yeah, I knew it. I knew it, He said, "What is it?" I said, "Lamba." He said, "I knew that. I knew it." He said, "Because I lived for several years in Senegal, and the tightness, I've only seen that level of tightness from a high-level jiu-jitsu person or a lam wrestler. That's the only place I've seen that level of tightness of a person where you're controlling their body with your closeness and tightness." I said, "Damn, that's impressive." Okay. And so that's what kept me coming there. But the first day when Jacare comes, the school is called Alliance Martial Art. When Jacare comes, and he's known for being good with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he's not the type of instructor I would vibe with. I don't care that he's good. First thing he comes in, so I have an E-Day on. This is a small E-Day. And just so you know, I have my wife give me the small beads on purpose. Because people be like, "You wear big beads, that means you really got skill. You initiated Babalawo." Don't stop that foolishness. All that aesthetics, that ain't got nothing to do with it. I've been training in Ifa for over 20 years. Okay. I've been initiated to Obatala since 2000. Now XP's in here. He came to my initiation. I've been initiated to Obatala since 2010, I think. And I've been initiated to Ifa since 2011. Or maybe I think Ifa since 2010. I don't remember. So since 2010 and to Obatala since 2009 or 8. So that ain't got nothing to do with it. I've had the big ones. I've had a big one with Iking, which is the palm nut in the middle. I've had the big ones. My wife owns a shop, so I get all kinds of, and she puts the E-Days on me. Okay. I've had the big one with cowrie shell in the middle. I've had a big one with a piece of coral. It all depends on what. Also, I get divination to say that to have this for a certain time or whatever. But anyway, I had a big one on. It was on my left wrist. And he said, "Oh, you got to take that off." Jacare is from Brazil. White dude from Brazil, but I know he knows what this E-Day is. It's in my mind. I'm like, he knows what this is. I said, "This doesn't come off." He said, "Oh, you roll one of us, it's gonna come off." Everybody, hee. I said, "There's not a man in here man enough to take this off my wrist." And it got broken in my class. Years later, there wasn't a man enough to break this on my wrist. And they were trying their best to grab. They call it hand fighting. We just call it removing an obstacle. They grab me, get out of here. Weapon retention, that's off of weapon retention. Somebody grab your wrist anyway, because we figure if you grab your wrist, you must have a tool. And so you escape from that to maintain your tool. So they grab them, get out of here. Pull them in, throw them, bang, mount. Nobody could break that. And they were actually trying, which is disrespectful, because that is something this is important to me spiritually. But I'm like, do your worst. Do your worst, boy. You're not gonna be able to do it. And so they couldn't do it. And he chilled after that, and joking with me, and he seemed like he liked me. But to have that type of energy, if you come to my class, you got a cross. And I say, well, you probably need to take that off because so it doesn't get broken. You say, well, this never comes off. You ain't got to explain that to me. Okay, well, please tuck that in your shirt. And we're not trying to break that motherfucker, rip it off your neck. I'm not trying to do that. If it breaks, I'm not going to see, I told you. No. Like, come on, man, So all that silliness, don't have time for that. So when you go, James, make sure they vibe with you and what you believe in, and things of that nature. Okay. Is it better to get a fixed blade knife in a sheath or a foldable? That's up to you. But so after you train, after a while, it becomes quick, and you get tools like where you have something like this where you can press it and it opens quick. You get something like that. That's on the back, or a wave when you pull it out your pocket, it opens it up. Because you want that mug open and ready. It's open, and then you want to deploy it, meaning it's ready to be used. Okay. This, of course, is brass knuckles. If somebody came quick, I can't open it up. I could work with brass knuckles for it too. It's not brass, but iron knuckles. A knuckle duster is what it's actually called. But I carry them both. Fixed blade is much quicker, of course, because once you pull it out the sheath, it's ready to go. Pull it out the sheath, it's ready to go. Folding knife, pull it out. You still got to pull it out. Pull it out your pocket. Then you have to open it. So that no matter how quick you are with that, and we've done a show on deploying a tool, and we dealt with that. No matter how quick, I'm pretty quick with mine, and the whole goal is to do it under a second. But you still have to do it. Whereas when you pull it out the sheath, it's there. So I recommend both. A person that doesn't have the benefit of being able to train with others on a regular, I would say get a fixed blade knife. Okay. But depending on your state, too, you may not be able to wear a fixed blade knife on your waist. Atlanta, we do all kinds of with pistols on. It's just Wild West here, even though we on the East Coast. But like in Chicago, when I wear knives, I only wear folding knives. I have knives at my mother's house, so I usually fly to Chicago. I'm not flying. You can't fly with your knives on you. So when I get there, I have my knives there ready to go. Okay. It's funny. One time my mother said, you left a pocket shark and a knife here. I think you left it by mistake. I said, well, you're not going to flown with. No, we drove, but I left it there. I said, well, it's there. So just leave it there in the room. So when I come, then I have tools there. And so I have those tools. Okay. Now you say, well, can you legally wear tools in Chicago? I said, I have those tools. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you have the tools if you're in Chicago. So I have the tools. Okay. And I would advise you to protect yourself to the best of your ability. Okay. So that's my answer to that. Let's see. On the fixed blade or a foldable knife, and buy both. See what you're more comfortable with. If you can carry both in your state or city, buy both. See what you're more comfortable with, and then practice Whatever you have, practice with it. Practice pulling it out your pocket, out the sheath, and deploying it. Have it in front of you, ready to go. Did you see the video of elderly black woman Uber driver killed by 81-year-old man? No, I did not. I'm going to watch that, and we'll talk on that next week during the news segment. 81-year-old man. Wait, Uber driver killed by 81-year-old man. I'm thinking it was an 80-year-old woman Uber driver. 81-year-old man killed a woman Uber driver. Was he defending himself or? Interesting. I'm going to go for that now that I'm in physical therapy for my sciatic leg glute pain. I wrestled 1 year. I was ineligible to play football. Learned a few lessons. Size matters. Yes, it does. The fresh soft couldn't do nothing with me. Even some varsity got my ass kicked too, though. Yes. If anybody tell you size doesn't matter in self-defense, they're lying to you or they're very ignorant. You shouldn't let somebody's size scare you, but it does matter. Let's see. I'm in California, so I have to check. If you're in California too, if you could check out Diallo Frazier, is good. He's a good person too. Man, cats rolling around with everything be easy. What are your thoughts on competition? I feel like I won't know how good I truly am until I try it. At the same time, I'm an adult and don't want to risk injury by a crash out. Okay, so know that competition, tournaments, or if you fight MMA, that's not real life. It's under rules. It's good to test your athleticism, your endurance, your tolerance for pain. It teaches you strategies. It's good for that. But as far as learning to defend yourself out here, I would say take a martial art class that's realistic and that train. They pressure test everything they have. And the best way to pressure test is to, one, you're using tools against the person, but in a safe way, so you can use training tools, whatever you try. The person really trying to stab you and you're trying to defend yourself. Right? The person's trying to slash you, you're trying to defend yourself. And that will actually make you quicker. So the one thing when you're working with tools, even you start with a stick, you don't want to get hit by that stick. So it makes you work harder and you actually become faster with your reflexes because you don't want that stick to hit you. Okay. That's why it's important to tap your students a little bit. Okay, you don't want to bust them in the head, shatter their skull, but tap them. And my students know if we grab them, if I throw one of them, I mount one of them, I'm gonna slap the shit out their head, their forehead. They better defend themselves. Otherwise, I'm gonna slap, pow, slap upside the forehead, pow, slap upside the forehead. Not slap in the face because I can break their jaw. I don't care about stinging their face. I slap myself. I don't care. That's nothing. Any of my students should be able to take that. But this will break your jaw. And in the midst of us training, I'm worried I'm not going to slap with my finger and end up and risk dislocate my finger. I've been hitting with my palm, and that will dislocate their jaw. So upside the head, spot to the forehead, right? Knock shit out that forehead. They better defend themselves. And they know if that was the forehead, they could easily be the nose. They could easily be their jaw. They don't have to be a palm. It could be an elbow. Okay. It could be whatever. So they learn to defend themselves. They work harder because there's a chance of them getting tapped. And they don't want to get tapped. Let me see. Story is he was being telephone scammed, extorted for money. She pulled up allegedly after they had demanded money. Oh, okay. I'm gonna watch it and then definitely talk on that. Oh boy. So she was scamming them. So we have to think: is somebody scamming you worthy of death? Was that your last bit of money? And then you scam an elder? Boy, I'm gonna have to watch that and think on it. Yeah. Scorpion by TRS, Ryan Newton. I don't know what that's talking about. Yeah, I don't think boxing competitively is necessary to test your skills. Sparring will do that, and you have protection on, and you go harder, really. Yeah. If you box, okay, say you say, I want to learn, can I really defend myself this boxing against a hard hitter? And you say, I'm going to go in the ring with Mike Tyson. That's not the smartest thing to do, Even though Mike Tyson is, 57? Something like that. That's not the smartest thing. That he still hits hard. I don't know if y'all seen him training recently. Whew. So you don't have to learn like that. Okay. You can learn while you're training because they're going to tap you now. So you better be able to roll out of it, fade on the strike slip. You're gonna know if you are able to do those things because you're gonna be getting hit. Yes. Well, you don't go all out in sparring. Like I was sparring with Kunle one time, and he started going really hard because his wife was watching. And I usually don't spar with dudes in front of their wife. He insisted. And I don't do it because, I know mother's going to go hard. They want to impress their wife. He's going hard as hell. I'm like, hey, dude, bring it down some. He gives me this look. When people do that to me and I'm asking them to don't go too hard or so, and that pisses me off. If you ever want to train, if you're training with me and I say, hey, you're hitting too hard and you give me that look like, man, please, this is how I hit. If you're too weak to take it, then please. So I said, okay, that's cool. Okay, cool. And he comes in, I catch him with a flying knee. He crumples up. But I did not hit him with a flying knee that I would do out on the street where I'm trying to rupture somebody's liver. Just tap him in his liver. He gonna crumple now. But if I am really trying and really putting my all into that strike, then I'll probably rupture your liver. And that's more than just dropping you. Okay, so you don't go all out ever. But you can give them 50%, 65, 70%. If y'all really want to go, against resistance and, but that's about it. I go 50%. I hit real hard. It's not bragging, it's just the truth. So I go about 50% with my students. When we're really trying to resist hard like that, normally I go about my normal training, I'm going about 25, 30%. Otherwise, no need me to touch hands with you. When you see me here on Warrior Class, I'm doing about 10%. So you all can see the technique. I can talk through it with you, things of that nature, okay? And with me, they go 30%, and I'll be like, what is that? What are you doing? And you probably heard me on here say that before. Like, what are you doing? Give it to me. You used to hear me say, give it to me. You got to give me at least 50. Come on, what are you doing? I ain't going to break. You have those instructors where they enjoy the student not hardly hitting them, but they hit the shit out of their students. That's another thing, James. Run from those kind of schools. This dude ain't getting on the mat. We say the mat's the truth. If you're not getting on the mat, or you can't, some people you physically can't, then don't let ego get you killed or hurt or whatever. But also don't be an abusive bastard to your students, and your ass couldn't get out there and do what you're demanding they do. Slow it down. Let one of your students who can do that teach. You see me on the mat with my students because I can take it and I can give it. And the day I can't, the day I sit down. I ain't trying to get out here and get my damn ankle dislocated or knocked unconscious. I mean, it's cool to get knocked, not cool. It's okay to get knocked unconscious in the midst of training. But now I'm getting knocked unconscious. I did something stupid. My wife, I told you, my wife choked me out. I swung at her, she slipped on the bone, caught me in a rear naked choke. Next thing I know, I wake up, she over there training with somebody else. And I say, really, dear? You just let me just lay here? You really? So I knew you're gonna wake yourself up. Or, really? Thank God. You know, that's how it is. XP, if you still in there, you can tell them that's how we train. You know, I think I was talking before, and I'm in on this about me, Kalanji, Jamazo. I said, and another student was training. That's if you see XPJ7 in there, that's Akimbe. We were in there, we were training on the choke, where you hold the person's head in the collar tie and you choke here, right? You're moving forward as you pulling them towards that and the counter pressure there. We all knocked each other out. We all knocked each other out. It was okay. We're still here. It's okay. Okay. Now, if you never train and you come into the class, I probably won't even teach that because you definitely gonna run. Like, oh, these mother crazy mug. Choking each other out. We're not just choking, like, let's choke each other unconscious. That's not what's happening at all. It's in the midst of training, and we're pressure testing what we have. Even though I've been doing it a long time, I'm older. I got to pressure test even technique now with my age. What works for me still, what doesn't? What do I have to adjust because of my age, because of my level of fitness, because of my mindset? Where's the adjustment? So you're constantly adjusting and you constantly are training. If you're not, man, how are you teaching and you're not training? How are you teaching and you're not training? This isn't an academic setting, but even in the academic setting, most professors I know, they're still reading, they're still learning. How are you, but in martial arts, how in the hell are you teaching somebody and you're not training? You're doing a disservice to people. You're playing with their lives. You don't take it seriously when it's said you can protect your life with this. You don't realize how precious life is, or how it's not just something easy, just take somebody else's life too. If you're not training, you don't have a respect for what you're doing. You don't have a respect for somebody else's life, and you will easily hurt other people. It's not fun to hurt nobody. It's not fun to take a life. It's not fun to paralyze somebody or choke them unconscious. It's not fun. You say, man, class was fun today. Well, keep training and you'll get more serious about your training. You can enjoy what you do. We laugh and all of that during class, but we recognize that it's a danger. When y'all see me tossing belay around, that's so you all can learn. And sometimes when I know I toss them too hard, you okay? I forget that I'm on camera. You okay? Because I'm more concerned about that. I don't want to hurt him. I want you all to learn. And his body is the training is built so he could take certain things. Same with me. So I can take certain things. He got to throw me. He threw me. Whoa! Oh, I'm 56. Oh, I'm breaking apart. That is terrible. And then you say, well, shit, I can't do that technique. He broke apart. No. You have to condition yourself. And so these techniques you can do. If you're working with somebody else, throw on something soft until you can condition yourself. And then let it be harder. And then you can throw on the ground. We went for a movie audition, me and my students. And it's just concrete. They have no mats. Some people left the audition like, ain't no mat. I've been hurt myself. I said, well, no match. Okay, we've been training at that time. We trained in the garage, in my garage. We had like 5 mats at the time. So two people on the mat, everybody else on the concrete. Then they switch into the mat, and the other people go on the concrete. So we did the whole thing on concrete. It was no big deal. Nobody was hurt. Not like we did on concrete because we crazy and we left there big bruises and broken elbow and shit. Nobody was hurt at all. Not a bruise. Okay. Because you get conditioned. Now, if we just walk in there, I said, yeah, throw me with a shoulder throw. And I've never fallen. And I get thrown with a shoulder throw. Then I'm like, oh, help me up. I should have done that. I'm not going to get this movie role because I'm done. Okay. So you condition yourself so you can take throws and things of that nature. Until then, you do the lighter throws. The things I teach here is fulcrum throws that's not high throws. So for the people who are not conditioned, they can take it. If you come to train with us, we're going to condition you for falls and rolls, and we're going to do higher throws and harder throws with you. Okay. It's indigenous African martial arts, so it's very trip, throw, sweep, heavy. Okay. I was trained by Senders John Blair, Moses Powell, Ron Van Cleef, and many others. Okay, wonderful. I don't know John Blair, but I know Moses Powell personally. Have a lot of respect for Ron Van Cleef and many others. I have traveled to Korea, Japan, lived in New York City, Chinatown, trained others in Africa. CARICOM. You are correct, but we must. I can't tell what that is. Ooh, boy. We must something. Clap. We must train and watch Chinese and African diaspora produce martial arts films and honor the martial arts ancestors like the Black Dragons. All right, Johnny Johnson. Okay. Excellent. That choke ain't no joke. Rear naked. No, it's not a joke. Oh, you talking about this choke? Yeah, there go XP right there. Yeah, it's not a joke. We were all getting knocked out there. Kalanji knocked me out. Jamazo knocked out Kalanji. XP knocked out Jamazo. I knocked out XP. It was crazy. It was crazy, but it was hilarious, right? And it was cool. But when Kalanji knocked me, come, Brad, you okay? I'm okay, dude. It's cool. So it was cool. All right. And only do chokes if you are actually trained in chokes. Because if somebody is not responding and waking up, you have to know how to revive them too. Okay. And then they never get choked again in class because be like, oh, hell no, something's wrong. Get yourself checked out first. Because when you're choked, the body wakes itself up as long as the choke's not held on you a long time, right? So the body wakes itself up in seconds. If you lay in there for a minute, 2 minutes or something's wrong and you're probably going to expire. Okay. No, she wasn't scamming him. It was one of his family members. Supposedly, she just happened to unfortunately encounter him. Ooh, I got to check into that. So I think those are all the questions. Blade recommendations. I have picked up some Mora knives and really liked them, especially for the price. We don't do brand recommendations because we don't do brand recommendations. Unless a mug was paying us, we might do that, but I'm not really into capitalistic things like that. But for your knowledge sake, buy knives, like I said, with the wave. It's a hook that goes on it. For time's sake, I'm going to get one of my knives with a wave, but there's a hook on it. And when you pull it out your pants, it hooks on the pant and it opens the knife up. or get you something. Now I don't know what this mechanism is called, but it sticks out in the back. You press it down, it opens a knife. Okay. Press it down, opens a knife, it's ready to go. Or if you don't have that, use about a knife and then you open it up. That's all I'll say on that. Folder or fix is good. If you look up knives, a knife should cost you, a good knife, and if you hit me up privately, I'll tell you. African martial arts, it's with a K, AFRIKAN, African martial arts, one word, at gmail.com. I'll tell you, I can give you a list of knives, or you say, is this knife a good knife? I'll tell you whether it's a good knife or not. Okay, I'll do that for everybody here. I know B-Lay was here, be like, wait until we get the Patreon, but I'll do that for you. So you all will know what knives to get. But a knife, you can get a good knife anywhere from, I hate to say what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it, to be honest with you. A good knife anywhere from $80 to $800, depending on, I don't know what your pockets are looking like. Okay. I have bought knives everywhere from $20, not good knives, up to $500. I have not paid $800 for a knife, but I know some that are good knives that cost like that. Okay, it's custom though, but you're gonna pay. You know, if you want a titanium blade, you're gonna easily pay $100, $200 for that. A folding knife, a fixed blade titanium knife. Ooh, that's gonna cost you. That's in that $400 or $500 range at least. Okay, just so you know. But you want to get you an affordable folding knife. That's a good knife. $60. You can go to some places, you can get $45, $50. Okay. I wouldn't go lower than $45 for a knife for myself. Not for myself, but for you all. If you're going to get a knife, I wouldn't go lower than that. If you say, well, how low would you go? At this point, I wouldn't go lower than $80 for a knife. All right. But, you know, and you can save, get you the cheap one. It's not going to last you long, but hopefully you ain't getting too many scraps. So get you a $20 knife and then save your money until you can afford to get something better. You know, that's what I would do. John Blair was a red belt in Goju karate, musician who invented the sitar instrument. I think the sitar probably existed before all us lived. So I don't know if he invented that. He may have invented a type of sitar. A violinist who recorded with Bobby Womack. Oh, snap. Okay. Roberta Flack. He created Shirin-Ryu. Really? Karate. Master John Blair. Okay. All right, Johnny Johnson. My friend's dad had us doing Goju barefoot on the gravel driveway. My feet were jacked up. Oh, I'm sorry. All school week. I bet. That's I manifesto. All right, y'all. Enjoy talking with y'all. Come back at 5. You know, get y'all something to eat or some water or whatever. You know, come back with your drink. Your nearest. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I won't say that one either, but y'all know that's black owned whiskey. I got some waiting on me right now. I don't think I'm gonna drink no Uncle Nearest for this next show. I want to be like that. But it is April 20th, so happy 420 if you celebrate that. I'm celebrating that with coffee right now, and with no marijuana in it. Marijuana is not legal in the state of Georgia. I don't smoke anyway. I get silly with Cybin sometimes. And that's not legal either. It's funny. My wife said, "Oh, this is great. I want to sell this in my shop." You'd be a daisy if you do. Do not, because that's not legal here either. I think shrooms are only legal in like Colorado and Washington State, maybe, or some Nevada or some. Not Nevada. It's in that Colorado, Washington State. What else is over there? I think it's only legal there. But anyway, I'll see you all back this evening. I'm about to do some writing, probably take a walk. So I'll see y'all soon. Love y'all. Stay black or whatever it is that you may be. Be safe out there. Peace.